Very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, depending on which part of the globe you're joining us from. My name is Sehej, and I lead the recruitment for the Oxford Online Executive Education programs here at Saïd Business School and University of Oxford. And on behalf of the entire Oxford family, I would like to welcome you all to today's session, which is the Oxford Online Learning Experience session, specifically for our AI portfolio of programs. So before we jump onto it, I would firstly like to thank you all. I can see the numbers still rising up, and very soon, like about 100 plus people will have on this particular session. So thank you for taking out the time today. I understand you all must be having busy schedules, but I can very well commit that this particular 1 hour that you will be investing here will be worth that particular time. And in this particular session, so this is like a session very specifically curated for you all joining us today. So we will be going through two particular parts into this. So we'll be obviously going through the entire learning experience, that how does Oxford's online learning experience look like and how it is different from any other, let's say, online program you have been to, or if this is the first online program that you would be going out for. And along with that, obviously, as the title suggests, we'll be deep diving into the AI programs. What all programs do we have? What areas do they cover? And most importantly, how these programs would be beneficial for you all and how these programs are different from each other. Along with that, today I am being joined by a fantastic panel. We have three tutors along with us who teach on the programs, and also we have Lana who's joining us, who's gone through actually three of our programs as well. In fact, four programs. I just got to know that. So yeah, so down the line you'll be hearing from all of them. So yeah, without wasting any further time, let's go further. So a couple of important and housekeeping things wanted to mention before we jump into the session. So there's a Q&A box that is there. So please drop in any particular questions that you have with regards to the program at the end of the session. Towards the later half, we will be addressing the questions that you will have with respect to the program and anything that you have, like want to ask the tutors or our alumni. We'll be more than happy to take on that. Secondly, this session, the main room of the session is going to be recorded, and the recording for the same will be shared with you all down the line once once the webinar is concluded in a couple of days. And as mentioned previously, this session is divided in two halves. So you'll have a main room which covers the overall aspects about the learning experience and the overall AI programs and the portfolio that's there. And then we'll have three specific breakout rooms, which will be accompanied by three different tutors. So you can join those particular breakout rooms for depending on whichever program excites you and you want to learn more about that. And that particular tutor will be there to answer queries with regards to the same and also give you a quick overview regarding things. And as my colleague mentioned previously, please join through the Zoom desktop app, as we've previously encountered a couple of problems when you access it through the web page that's there. So if you're on the web page, I would suggest to migrate to the desktop app. So yeah, as I mentioned previously, there we have a fantastic panel with us, and I think it's better to hear the introduction directly from them. So yeah, to start off, Peter, if you can, give a quick introduction about yourself to everyone who's joined. Over
Yeah,
to
hi
you.
guys. Hello. Yeah, some of you will know me from the AI ethics, compliance, and regulation course. And you're probably looking to see if you would like to do any of the other AI courses offered by the Side Business School. If you haven't been on my course, then welcome everybody to the webinar. Really looking forward to going through it with you all and helping you make a decision on which course is the most relevant to you. Thank you. Over to you, David.
Thanks, Peter. So, yeah, welcome everyone to this session. I am one of the tutors of the Generative and Agentic AI program. And I'm going to be kind of leading the presentation of that program in the breakout room. So I hope that you are interested in this program and any question that you may have about this one specifically, we will address that in the breakout room. Thank you, everyone. Over to
Thank
you,
you, David.
Cyrus.
I think Cyrus has joined us.
Yeah, I'll jump in next. Nice to meet you all. So Cyrus, the lead AI implementation head tutor. I also lead our part of AI services at Accenture and co-founder of AI for Growth, which is a non-profit that's trying to drive AI adoption within small businesses. And great to have Lana here, who's just, I think, recently completed our AI implementation program, as well as a few others as well. So, yeah, looking forward to answering more questions about the implementation program. But Lana, over to you, and great to have your perspective as a participant and completer.
Thank you, Cyrus. Yes, hello everyone. It's wonderful to be here with you all today. My journey into this curriculum actually started with a bit of practice what you preach. Earlier this year, I asked my AI agent to design a professional development plan for me. And guess what? Top of the list was Oxford leading AI implementation program. So I took its advice and I enjoyed the course so much so that I enrolled into three other programs, which I consequently completed this summer. It was AI ethics, regulatory and compliance program, the generative and agentic AI program, as well as artificial intelligence program. But I guess we will talk about them later in this webinar.
Thank you very much, Peter, David, Cyrus, and Lana, for the introduction. And definitely, you all will be hearing from them down in the session. So, quick overview about the agenda, although we have touched upon it briefly. So, as I mentioned, it's divided into two parts. So, first, we'll be talking about the overall aspects, which is why Oxford, the overall learning experience. We'll go through the platform, how exactly it looks like, a short demo about it, the benefits of the program, and obviously, we'll talk more about the alumni status that's there, which is basically people who have completed the program, whom we call as alumni. Then you'll have three options present on the screen, which will give you option to go through three different breakout rooms, which are for the different programs, which you'll get an understanding about down the line. And then in those breakout rooms, you will be understanding more in detail about those programs, who should join those programs, the modules that are there, assignments and assessments, the faculty and guest speakers that will have, and obviously how you can apply for it and the Q&A part of it. And at the end, we will be then coming back to the main room for the closing part, and also if you have a couple of questions that are there, that will be addressed. So, before we jump on to the learning experience bit, obviously a quick introduction. And I believe, well, University of Oxford and the Business School legacy everyone is aware about, so it doesn't require an introduction in the first place. But if we talk about, apart from the legacy, if we talk about the recent years, so University of Oxford and Saïd Business School both have been ranked globally in terms of top university and top business school, respectively, by the leading rankings. So it's not just about the legacy, and also it's also about the recency as well. So Oxford has always been on the top across the globe. And coming to our online program, so we have a strong community, about 50,000 plus people who have completed our programs. And one thing that we are very much proud about Oxford is the diversity element of it. So we have been joined by 200 plus people from 200 plus countries and territories across our programs. And also, we have an industry breaking completion rate of 92% for our programs, which is quite high considering an online program that's there. Can we please move on to the next slide? Thank you. So yeah, so before we jump on and discuss more about the learning experience, the programs and the breakout rooms, we would like to have a much more understanding from you all with regards to which program you are most interested about, and you'll have a poll on your screen wherein you can mention which program you would be most interested about.
Yeah, we can see a lot of AI ethics and actually quite equal
Yeah, it's actually
generative and
quite.
agentic AI, right? And some
Yes.
7% of the participants has selected all of them. Yeah, very surprised. And okay, so should I start?
Yeah, completely. I think it's a very strong competition between all the programs, in fact, which is actually very surprising. Just
Yeah.
a minor difference between all the programs. So, yeah, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts about the program. It helps us a lot getting an understanding which areas people are most interested about. And yeah, so I would like to hand it over to discuss more about the programs and the journey to my colleague Toby, who handles the entire AI portfolio of programs.
Yeah.
So over to you, Toby, to take it.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Toby Chen. I'm a senior portfolio consultant here at Saïd Oxford. I'm taking care of our in-house AI programs. And now I'm going to take you through the programs themselves and hopefully help you to get a clear understanding of which one might be the best fit for you. But before I start this part, could you please raise your hand to let us know if you are deciding between different programs? So, okay. Yeah, a lot of you. Okay, good to know that. Thank you very much for the input. And so let me give us a quick overview of the three programs, our in-house AI programs, because although they are all focused on AI, they approach AI from very different perspectives. So the first one is AI ethics regulation and compliance, or AIE. This program is really about governance side of AI. So things like risks, regulation, ethics, compliance, and the responsible AI. Then we have our leading AI implementation, or LAI. So this one is more focused on the journey from AI strategy to actual execution. So the question here is, how do we actually implement AI in an organization and use it to drive our business transformation? And finally, we have a generative and agentic AI program, or GAI. So this one, probably the most hands-on of the three. The focus here is on practical use of AI tools, including technologies such as different mainstream platforms and AI agents, and how you can actually work with them day to day. So let's start with our AI ethics program. So it's a 5-week program, with a weekly input of 10 hours. Since we have our head tutor, Peter, here. Peter, can you help us go through this 5 weeks, please?
Sure. So basically, it's the why, the what, and the how. So the first week is orientation week. The second week is on the why. Why are we studying regulations? And why are we regulating AI anyway? So that's all about ethics behind it. And then the third and the fourth weeks is about the what. What are the specific regulations in different regions throughout the world? Week 3, we focus on the EU AI Act, so European regulation. And then in week 4, we do the rest of the world, so US, Australia, Canada, Singapore, etc. And in week 5, finally, it's the how. So it's how do we actually put this into practice, and how do we make sure our AI systems within our organizations are actually compliant with the law. So that's the 5 weeks there. And yeah, it's a very interesting course.
Thank you, Peter. So, long and short, the simple terms for this program, the journey takes you from understanding the risks to understanding the rules, and then finally to applying them in practices. So participants of this program will gain a full 12 months access to our AI compliance platform, Oxica, after the completion. And this program is also a CPD certified program. Upon the completion of it, you will gain 20 learning hours towards your account. So it's very popular, and we have lots of participants from this program. And then we move on to our leading AI implementation program. So this program structure is also 5 weeks, but the weekly commitment is a little bit lighter at around 6 to 8 hours per week. As we mentioned, the learning journey is much more focused on turning AI strategy into implementation. So Cyrus, as a head tutor of this program, can you please walk us through the 5 weeks?
Yeah, of course. So this one focuses a little bit more, as you touched on, the overarching piece is trying to think about AI is not the answer to everything, right? So how do we actually take a needs and problem-based view, defining an AI strategy, thinking about where do I actually want to apply AI to address a proper need or problem? And then how do we actually bring this to life and implement this and execute this within our organizations? So how do we think about the stakeholders? How do we think about piloting and actually identifying where to start in a really practical and tangible way? How do we navigate that kind of messy middle from high level strategy through to actually frontline execution and the kind of adoption and change journey that people need to be on, the kind of impact on skills, the impact on people, the impact on governance, and actually making sure that this is then brought to life. So you can see the flow over here. Obviously, they start with orientation as always. First one, identifying a particular implementation plan, thinking about what's readiness, what does that look like. Module 2 is really thinking about that leadership lens and starting that engagement and enablement from the top. Module 3, identifying the pilot. So what is the specific use case that would actually bring this to life within your organization? And then module 4 is thinking about how do we scale that and really build that broader organizational capability, because one of the key things with AI is that it's not about a specific program that has a start, middle, and end, but actually in a lot of cases, it's actually building an organizational muscle and capability that needs to kind of drive some more into the future as well. So that's a big part of how we think about the changes in operating model and kind of that broader implementation to activate.
Thank
Happy
you
to go
very
into more
much.
detail later, but yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Thank you very much. So you can later talk to Cyrus about this program in the breakout room. And the third program has a slightly different rhythm because it's shorter. And much more focused on the hands-on practices. So generative and agentic AI program runs 4 weeks with around 6 to 8 hours of learning per week. So let's have David to walk us through the 4 weeks, please.
Yes, thank you, Toby. So as usual, the first week is orientation, where you get familiarized with the platform that you are going to be using. And in week 2 is when we start kind of entering into a bit of detail. As Toby mentioned, this is really a hands-on program, but you have to take into account that there is no kind of coding required in this program. We are going to enter into a good level of granularity in how the agents work, but you are not going to be developing software or coding an agent. So in week 1, we explore the fundamentals and we cover how the LLMs work. We explain the transformers architecture, and we start discussing about basic concepts of generative AI like prompting, RAG, and autonomous workflows. In the week 3, when we start module 2, is when we start entering into more detail about agents. Specifically, we discuss about the different agent types that can be developed in an organization, and we provide frameworks about making decisions about buy or building internally in a rapidly evolving market. Because I'm sure that you are aware, and one of the reasons why you are here is because the market progresses very fast. So sometimes these decisions can vary over time. So that is what we cover in the week 3 in module 2. And the final week 4, is module 3, when we provide much more detail about how to develop an agent. We cover things like governing agents, oversight, validation, evaluation, regulatory considerations, and we provide as well a lot of frameworks and tools as well to make the business case to developing agents in organizations, because not all the times agentic is the solution. So we provide kind of a good framework for you to make those decisions. So that is the overview of the program. Happy to provide more feedback in the breakout room. Back to you, Toby.
Thank you, David. So in simple terms, 4 weeks practical learning and focus on turning generative and agentic AI from something you heard about into something you can actually use and manage day to day. So across the 3 programs, you can see quite clearly that each one takes a different approach. And I will just briefly touch on what the learning portal looks like here. So this is where you access your weekly content, videos, readings, activities, and assessments. So everything is organized by unit. So it's very easy to see where you are in the program and what you need to complete each week. And you will also notice that this is not just a library of content. The portal guides you through the journey step by step with a clear structure and progress tracking, so you can manage it alongside work. Just a quick note here, we don't have formal exams on these programs. Instead, you will be asked to complete weekly learning activities, such as quizzes, discussions, and then at the end. So each program has its own individual project, which gives you an opportunity to apply what you've learned through the journey. And yes, that's our platform and Oxford online experience. So rather than me just talking through what the online experience includes, I'd love to bring our Illuminant Lana to explain her insights. And Lana, you have been through the programs yourself, so it would be great to hear what this looked like in real life and how did the Oxford online experience actually feel in practice, especially balancing the learning with live, using the live sessions and getting the support from our tutors and peers.
Thank you, Toby. That's a wonderful question. Well, in practice, it feels highly structured and incredibly flexible. With 20 years of intense corporate routine behind me, I was thinking, well, how do I going to fit this learning into my schedule? The answer really lies in exceptional support system. You have a success advisor right there to answer all your organizational questions from the start and help to manage and track all the assignments and manage your timeline. Also from the day one. The curriculum itself is broken down into digestible, beautifully produced weekly video and audio modules, alongside the essential and additional reading materials. These materials I downloaded to my personal drive, and I go through them from time to time, even after continuing with the program. I found them incredibly useful in my daily work. There are also practical quizzes, and some of them are graded quizzes, and other ones are not. So the graded ones you can complete only once to get the mark at the end of the module, but ungraded quizzes you can practice several times to get better understanding of the materials. Then you never feel alone looking at the screen. The absolute heartbeat of the week for me, for example, was weekly live sessions where everything clicked together. You can debate the live cases with the tutors, with professors, and with your global cohort. And it felt very stimulating. Outside of the live hours, the learning and networking keeps going on. On Pronto, which is a university app that everyone can get access to. There we had small group discussions and wide group discussions, which are available to everyone. And you can participate as much as you like, or as little as you like. We discussed, for example, the cases like the AI agent drift on our AI ethics class. Finally, the assignments themselves are highly practical. You can use your own organization as a live case study. And then it brings immediate benefit to you, because at the end of the assignment, you can bring it back to your organization, showing what you developed. Or if you don't like that, or if you don't have the organization to practice on, the university has the predefined case, which you can also use for your assignment.
That would be useful for the professionals who work in like consultancy companies, so they can use our cases for their project.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's about it. I completely enjoyed being on the course. That's why I enrolled to all 4 of them. And I found the time spent incredibly useful and practical, and not only now, but the time ahead.
Yeah, so Nana actually completed our 4 AI programs. So yeah, very powerful alumni here. Thank you very much. That's really helpful. And I think what you have highlighted is exactly what this slide is trying to show. And yes, the program is flexible and online 100%, but it's not something you go through just by yourself, as Luna mentioned before. There is structure, there is tutor support, success advisor as well. There are live sessions, and there is a community around you. And a few benefits are worth mentioning here. Participants who completed our program receive an official certificate from Oxford Saïd. And as I mentioned, the AI ethics program is also designed to support CPD, continued professional development, which gives you about 20 learning hours credits towards your account. And overall, this is an opportunity to demonstrate to your employer, your clients, and also professional network that you are taking AI seriously. And another important benefit, which mentioned just now, Linda, can we talk more about the networking experience like for you through the journey? Yeah.
Yes, of course, Toby. The networking here is truly unmatched, I felt. When you look at the stats, for example, on this slide, 50,000 alumni across 200 countries, it sounds massive. But the way Oxford structured the small group sessions and forums makes it feel like close-knit community. And it's like you're working with your colleagues on the project. You really find yourself solving complex problems alongside senior leaders, regulators, tech professionals from every country in the world. You essentially get a global sounding board right here. In fact, the community aspect was so powerful for us that a brilliant group of us from the first leading AI implementation cohort decided that our collaboration couldn't just end at the end of the program. Together, we co-founded the Oxford AI Mastermind Network, a global community dedicated to continuing our weekly collaboration, showing and solving cutting-edge cases and driving real-world AI impact together long after the graduation. Ultimately, if you choose to study here, you are not just buying a certificate and a set of lectures. You are gaining an active, lifelong ecosystem of brilliant, like-minded innovators.
Thank you very much. Yes, as Linda mentioned, we have weekly basis. You have Pronto, which is a platform featured in your portal to connect with your fellow peers, and also you have the forum to have the discussions, big ones and small ones. Yeah, after the completion of the program, you will be invited to a closed community called Oxford Alumni Community. So we organize events regularly online and offline. So yes, you will be engaging with professionals from different sectors, functions, and geographies. Many of our participants value the opportunity to step outside of their day-to-day environment and learn alongside others who have the likely mindset and facing the similar challenges. So in a moment, I will open the breakout rooms for you. Please remember we have 3 rooms for those ones who interested in AI ethics. Please join Peter for AIE breakout room. For those interested in generative and agentic AI program, please join David. Leading AI implementation, please join Cyrus. And for those who wants to stay in the main room, me and Lena will be here to answer your questions. And I would like to encourage you to ask questions relevant to those programs, and we will spend about 15 minutes in the breakout rooms and then come back here in the main room for the final Q&A if you want to receive an answer for different programs or you have more questions for our alumni. Okay, so Bex, can we open the breakout rooms? Yeah, so you could click more, and there is a option called breakout rooms. So I can see 56 people have joined our breakout rooms, and we still have, yeah, okay. So people are joining the breakout rooms. And the ones who remaining in the main room, you can talk to me and our alumni about, yeah, anything. So I can cover the programs, the basics, and then that you can talk about the insights, yeah, as our alumni, yeah. Okay, so we have about 30 people here. Okay, so I assume the 30 guests you want to talk to me and our alumni, and so maybe you could like let us know by raising up your hand, and I will open your mic and you can talk to us. Okay, I've seen one. Pete, okay. Hello. Hello, Pete.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thanks for that. Actually, I'm not on the app. I'm sorry for that. So
It's
it's
okay.
just a question for me. Actually, I've just finished with my executive MBA from Trinity Business School.
Mhm.
And now, just moving to project management as a technical project manager working for Google. And I'm very much interested in the AI side of that, but
Yeah.
not getting, because there's so much thing in AI at the moment.
Yeah.
So and I was also exploring your other AI diploma program as well.
Mhm.
So I'm just trying to understand which road should I take there if I'm going to the product side. I know there's an ethics one, like if I'm, because I would like to be in the part of development of a product and how you using the algorithm. So, and especially this
Okay.
agentic AI program, I know you deal with all the algorithms and cloud. So which would be the right path for me?
Nana, do you have any suggestions? Yeah.
Yes, from what I heard, I think, Arpit, the generative and agentic AI would be a practical program for you and for the
Yes,
career
I
direction you have taken. Myself, I'm also the change and transformation leader, and I worked in project management for 20 years, last 20 years. So for me, the leading AI implementation was the closest to my career trajectory. But also I found the generative and agentic AI program is very practical. Um, program to take.
Yeah.
You would look at the business case. You would decide whether to buy or to build the agent. Then you would calculate the cost of building the agent in your final module for the generative and agentic program, which I think is good practice.
Oh, thank you. And we would be working on any specific platform in this, like when we are building the products like a Gemini or Claude, or is any particular platform you're using, like OpenAI or Claude or any other platform?
I don't remember that we had any specific platform. It was, I think, was open for any platform to use. The
I think, I
additional
believe, yeah.
activity in that program was actually to build the agent. So if you like to practice that, you also could. It was a lot of additional activities and additional readings, so it also helps you to balance the workload you can have or you would like to have on the program. I think that's way it makes it very flexible.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for it.
Yeah, just to mention the platform. So we switch between different platforms for generative and agentic AI program. And at during the final week, you'll be asked to prototype your own AI agent for your own use case. So that will be the to on top of what our Illumina shared. So that's the information. Yeah.
Thanks, Toby. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Okay, so we move to Adisha. So I'm just opened your mic, so you could speak to us right now. Yeah.
Hi, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah, something I like to do is I am an AI researcher in cybersecurity. In that case, I am more interested on, I think, towards the AI course, but do believe the agentic AI course as well will be a best suit for me. But I'm trying to as well to join the breakup room, but I am joining from the work laptop, so that option I do not have currently. So do you help me to have an understanding about like how many hours per weekly online sessions that I have, and as well as the content in the AI program? I gone through the website as well, but would love to know at the end, is it something related to AI auditor? Is it or any certification related, something like leading to support any other certifications in the industry or any exemptions for those, and something like the career path likewise? Do you have any idea? Sorry, because I try to join to AI
It's
break.
okay. So later you will also have the opportunity to talk to our tutors. So yeah, Lana, do you want to go ahead with the questions you want to ask answer? Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, sure. I'll try to be quick. It's about for me. It was about 10 hours per week. But also, that's why I keep saying that it is very flexible with additional materials, additional reading, and additional quizzes, and also the participation on Pronto chat. You can decide yourself how much you want to invest, how much time you want to invest. You can do essential reading and answer all the graded questions and do graded courseworks. And then see if you have more time to participate in additional activities. But also the activities on Pronto is more towards networking, and it depends what is the aim of joining the program. If you would like to do more networking, then you would invest your time in the Pronto app as well.
So on top of what Nana said, we do provide different layers of study. So you can choose to complete the standardized content we provided on our platform, but also we also have extended tasks and also readings on our platform. So you could go deep dive with those materials. Yes, so you could end up spending like 20 hours per week. But the standardized weekly commitment is 10 hours for AIE. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Just if I can add, if you don't have time going through the program, you can still download everything and use it after the program ends. So you don't lose anything.
Yeah. And also, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. In that case, my question was basically around how many hours per week for synchronized learning or asynchronous learning, something like online live sessions. How many hours for live sessions and how many hours for the recorded and the self-study, something like particularly interested to know live sessions.
So for AIE, I believe we have 4 live sessions during the 5 weeks. So you have one orientation call with us and then move on to the module 1, you have one live session, and the module 2, module 2, you have one live session, and then the final week you have one live session with us. So for the weeks which has live session, you will have 1 hour time with us at the real time. Yeah, if you choose to join us at the real time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And okay, so Naya, so I will allow you to talk. Yeah, I think you can talk to us now.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Awesome.
Hi.
Hey, Toby. Hey, Lana. This has been really informational, so thank you for that. My question is for Lana. You mentioned an organization that you guys created after you guys graduated the program. Could you please mention the name again? And also, like, what do you guys do?
Yes, of course. So it is Oxford AI Mastermind Network.
Okay.
We look at the cases, real cases, and we provide advice and guidance to the organization on solving these cases. We are very young organization. We just been set up,
Okay.
and yes, if you choose to join one of the programs, then you will probably get information on joining us after completion.
Okay, gotcha. No, that sounds great. I actually have been accepted for the AI diploma program that's starting in January, so very excited about that. But I'm also looking into one of the online programs. So this was a very informational session. And I like the reason that I'm asking is like I have my own company around AI governance, and I'm trying to help small businesses use AI responsibly. So I think the AI ethics program is something that I'm interested in, and I'm gonna jump into the breakout room. But this was really helpful, Lana and Toby.
Thank you very much. And yes, as I said, you will still have the chance to talk to the tutors later. So after
Okay,
the
perfect.
breakout session, so you don't miss anything. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we move on to the next question. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. So Arabia. So you can talk to us right now. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Hello, I'm Rabia Iftikhar. I'm basically an undergraduate student from Pakistan. I don't have such professional knowledge, But I have a question about the responsible implementation of AI in developing countries. In Pakistan, basically, our population is growing rapidly and largely young, but unemployment is already a major challenge. At the same time, AI education and training opportunities are still quite limited. Many students mainly know AI through AI tools like ChatGPT or Gemini, which they use for assignments, projects, or for exams preparation, rather than understanding how AI can be applied professionally in businesses or in different industries. So, basically, my question is how can developing countries like Pakistan adopt AI in businesses without increasing unemployment or negatively affecting people's livelihood? Because they earn bread and butter from that. And how can businesses, universities, and governments work together to provide the right AI education and reskilling the opportunities so that young people are prepared to work alongside AI rather than being replaced by it? What would you recommend as the most practical first step for a country like Pakistan?
Yeah, so I think your questions are quite big. So sounds like there are a lot of content about AI ethics. So is that okay? I leave your question later to the tutors, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
Yeah.
completely
So
fine.
yeah, we can answer questions about the program themselves and also alumni experience throughout our
Yeah.
learning journey here. Yeah, thank you very much. Do you have any questions about those topics?
Basically, I have not completed the course yet. I have already joined the course on Coursera, but I have not completed, so I don't have questions like that.
Okay. You joined our generative and agentic AI program or other ones?
Others ones.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Good to know that. Yep. Hopefully
Thank
we
you so
can
much for
welcome
your
you to
time.
our in-house programs later. Okay, thank you very much. And do we have any other questions here? I can see we have okay, yeah, we have one more, Matt. So Matt, you can talk now.
I
Hello,
hope
Matt.
you can hear me.
Yes.
Perfect. I've noticed from the Oxford Saïd School list of programs that there almost seem like two batches of programs, one provided by Get Smarter and the other provided by Simply Learn. I'm struggling a bit to differentiate between the target audience for each of those two tracks. One seems maybe a bit more focused toward leadership in organizations, and one towards more general skills. Is that tracking, or I wonder if you could explain the difference between the two tracks?
Yes, I can explain that because we have how to say, we have our in-house team. So the programs we covered today, so that's from our in-house team, and we also collaborate with other education platforms such as 2U and also Simply Learn you mentioned. So we just collaborate with them to provide more topics to the market. So that's a purpose behind those settings.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there a particular target audience you would imagine for certain courses? The examples that I would put would be leading AI implementation in this particular seminar or this webinar that we're talking about. But I've noticed that there's an organizing for AI course provided under the separate track, the Simply Learn track. So I'm trying to differentiate between who is the
Understood.
target audience for each of those two courses, because they seem similar, but the target audience might be different. So I'm just wondering what the difference is.
So the target audience is pretty much the same because we have different topics in these fields. That's why we need more manpower, let's say, for those programs. But yeah, we all target to business professionals. Yeah. So I think depends on what is your goal after joining our program.
Yeah.
Yeah, to choose the right fit for you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So are we considering the leading AI implementation program at this moment?
I was considering stacking a couple of the programs, but trying to find the right blend in line with end goals. So I particularly wanted to try to understand the difference between the leading AI and the organizing for AI, because they both seem to similar in some content. One may be focused at the organizational level, one focused more on actually deploying pilots
Mhm.
effectively, but then that might be two different audiences, one being leaders of businesses, i.e. maybe restructuring businesses and advising on that, versus the leading AI implementation would be focused more on actually implementing AI and getting it to work for people. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm thinking about those in the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lana, do you want to give Matt some suggestions on maybe give him some insights about leading AI implementation?
Yes.
Thank you.
The leading AI implementation, I would say, designed for the leaders who would develop the roadmap of the AI implementation, decide whether actually AI needed to be implemented in the company or not, the readiness of the implementation, and then go to the board with the proposal.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much. So I think now we can ask people to come back to the main room because we only have 10 minutes left. I'm cautious about the time we have later for the final Q&A. So Amy, can we ask Bex to bring people back in the main room? Matt, if you have further questions about different programs, you could reach out to me through my email. So I will leave my email address here in the chat, so you can talk to me later, or you can book a one-on-one consultation call with me. Okay, so okay, people are coming back. Yeah, welcome back, everyone. Okay, I hope you found the breakout rooms helpful for you to make your decision. And if any of you have any questions, now we have about 10 minutes here and for you to discuss and ask questions we didn't cover in the breakout sessions. Any of you have any questions to ask different tutors or to ask different tutors or our Illumina here? You can raise up your hand to let me know so I can open your mic so you can talk to us directly. Okay, I can see Sam. Yes. So you can talk to us right now, Sam.
Hi there. Thank you for that. Can you
Hi.
talk us through the payment structure? That would be interesting as well. Yeah.
The payment structure. So once you decided to enroll to one of our programs, you can go to our website. There is a button called Enroll Now, and you can click that button and choose the preferred cohort. And from there, you can follow the steps and make your payments through our payment platform called Flywire, or you can make the payment directly with your credit card or bank transfer. Or if you want to get the sponsorship from your organization, you can request an invoice at the checkout.
Thank you.
Thank you. We don't have VAT on top of our program fees. So the price you see on our website is pure payable from us. Yeah. And okay, I will let Tom to ask question.
I had a question about whether, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I just had a question about whether there is any consideration in the future to do a condensed fourth course where you combine all three of these courses together under one roof.
And so I think maybe one of our tutors can cover this question.
I mean, I can start.
Yeah, thank you,
So I think
Cyrus.
the short answer is they're already pretty condensed. There's a lot of content that we get through within each of these. I think there's a fine line between, giving, enough of an overview, that it's sort of digestible, but also not skimping on depth to the extent that it actually becomes unhelpful. We've done taster sessions before, but my personal thing is trying to combine too much then becomes actually not a good learning experience for you all. But I don't know, Peter, David, if you've got any other thoughts.
Yeah, I think they're all sort of related, but different at the same time. So, if anyone's heard of or has done the 6-week foundation or AI course, basically we're taking bits out of that and expanding them into these 3 or 4 week courses. So, the ethics and regulation might have been half a module in the AI foundation course, which is offered through the Saïd Business School as well. And we've expanded that into a 4-week course, right? And same with the leading AI implementation, that sort of focuses on module 6 of the foundation course and makes it into a complete whole course where we can go into much more depth, right, than we just did in the foundation course, which was very high level. And then there's a generative and agentic AI course, which again is one module in the AI foundation course, and we expand that into a 3-week course, and we do go into a lot of depth in that one, don't we, David? And that's really all the latest stuff as well. So they're different, similar but different in their own ways.
Great, thanks so much.
Thank you,
You're
Tom. And do we have any other questions? Okay, thank you. So should we move to Joseph? Yeah. Hi, Joseph. Josephine, sorry, Josephine.
That's okay. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. It might actually go well in line with what was just discussed, just to double check whether the program that Peter was referring to is the one that's called the Oxford Artificial Intelligence Program, because I'm personally feeling torn about whether to sign up for that sort of 6-week program or whether it would be more beneficial to do a condensed, maybe both the AI ethics and also the generative and agentic AI. So just sort of what would be your recommendation going on the nature of these different programs?
I would say if you have absolutely no background on AI whatsoever, the AI Foundation course is a really good starting place. And then from there, you can go on and do these more specialized, the 3 specialized courses. But if you do have a little bit of knowledge about AI now from your, working and reading about it, then you can just jump straight into these specific courses. Like you said, the ethics course and the generative AI course would be a really nice combination of policy and implementation, or just do the leading AI implementation course as well, slightly higher strategically focused course on how we implement AI systems in the real world. So yeah, it's a little bit down to you depending on your background, I would say, Josephine.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
So yeah, Peter, when you were in the breakout room, we have Uraba. I hope I pronounced your name right. So she had question about like AI ethics and also like country policies as well. So very big topics. So I will let her talk to you here.
Okay.
Hello, Uraba. You can talk to us right now.
Go ahead, Uraba. Ask away. If you come off mute. I think you've just gone back on mute. Yeah, hi.
I don't know. I have to mute or unmute it. The mic.
No, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Uraba Iftihar. Basically, I'm an undergraduate student from Pakistan.
Yeah.
And I have a question about the responsible implementation of AI in developing countries.
Yeah.
So in Pakistan, we have a very young population, but unemployment and limited job opportunities are already a major challenges. At the
Yeah.
same time, access to proper AI education and training is still quite limited. Many students mainly know AI through tools like ChatGPT or Gemini, which they use for assignment or projects, rather than understanding how AI can be used professionally or how it will change the workplace. So
Sure.
as AI become increasingly integrated into businesses, how can a developing country like Pakistan adopt AI without worsening unemployment or taking away people's livelihood?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there is the issue of technological unemployment, but what we're seeing there Ryber, is that initially companies started laying workers off because they thought AI would just replace everyone. But now they're rehiring everyone because they made a mistake. So the issue of technological unemployment is, looks like that's not going to be an issue for a while at least. So I think the more AI skills you learn now, the better place you'll be to actually take that into the workforce, because the workforce, any job we do these days, any business unit, any domain, industry domain, involves working with AI tools. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So, how can universities, businesses, and governments work together to provide meaningful AI education and reskilling so that young people can work alongside AI and benefit from it rather than replaced by it? And if you were advising a country like Pakistan, what would you consider the most important first step towards preparing its young population for AI-driven economy?
Yeah, well, I think you said it. I think the universities and government need to work together, right? So the government policy should be AI friendly towards universities and the workplace. And so really pushing AI initiatives, not being afraid of it, but actually really embracing it, okay? And that includes, starting off with education, even high school and then university. And then as you go into the workforce, really embracing it. So have AI friendly policy. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you everyone. So I'm cautious about the time. Thank you everyone for participating in today's webinar. If you still have any questions, please reach out to me or book a consultation call with us through the link we shared in the chat. And if you are ready to enroll, you can start your application directly with our QR code on the screen. And if you are still deciding between different programs, please book a call with me after today's session. And also, please note that now you can use the reduction code, find your edge, or capitalized. Don't forget the hyphens in between the letters, and receive the 15% reduction on the program fee. We don't charge VAT, as I said. We look forward to hopefully welcoming you very soon in the future. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Lana.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, David. Thank you, Saris. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.